Hi, Laura.
Hi.
It's good to see you today.
Yeah, you too.
Where would you like to start?
Well, I guess I should tell you that my boyfriend and I broke up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really feeling too sad about it because I broke up with him,
Mm-hmm.
which, I don't know, I think we both saw coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty okay.
Will you tell me a little bit more about that situation?
Yeah, so I think that I broke up with him just because I wasn't like feeling it anymore because he wasn't really supporting me about my sisters and like I don't know, I wasn't really hanging out with them too much and so it was just kind of like a natural, okay, fade off.
And how do you feel about losing him as a boyfriend?
I think it's okay because we're still like friends, you know, and now we don't have to feel obligated to like spend so much time together and we can just like relax and be friends.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think in one of our first sessions we talked about you potentially breaking up with your boyfriend and how you weren't very scared to like lose him altogether because you knew you'd keep him as a friend.
Yeah.
So you think that it worked out in that way?
I think so.
That's good.
Yeah.
Still keep a close friend.
Yeah.
So how have you been feeling with your sister lately?
Good. I've kind of stopped thinking about it and just tried to like put away the feelings. And Sarah and I don't really talk about it a lot, which is nice. But her and I talk a lot, which is good.
Do you feel like not having the thought of your mind in your mind about Rianne has kind of helped you?
Yeah, I think so. I think when I don't think about it, I'm not like so terribly sad about it, you know? And so it's easier to like try not to think about it because I don't want to be sad, you know? I don't like being sad, it's not fun. So I just try not to.
It sounds to me like you've come a long way since the beginning.
Thank you.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you've finally come to terms with what your sisters kind of done to you, like leaving the family and stuff. At least emotionally, you've kind of just like relaxed on the topic. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I'm still confused, but I'm trying to just not dwell on it, which I think is pretty good.
Will you tell me a little bit more about that?
So I think that when I do think about it a lot, I'm still really upset and like I try and figure out what it is and then I want to like call her or text her or like try and go see her and I don't think that's very healthy for me. I think that I get really, really upset. And so by not dwelling on it and not thinking about it or talking about it, I just kind of let it be what it is.
And you're okay with it, like letting it be, as you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I'm still more angry with her than I am like anything else, and so when I like get riled up on the topic, I'm sitting here like, well, she doesn't deserve me because she doesn't, you know, put in the effort to put me in her life and stuff like that. So why should I put in the effort either? And that anger kind of like separates me from it, and then I can just relax.
Like when you compare anger to your other emotions, when you think about your sister, which one like comes up more?
Like anger and like how I miss her and like longing to have that relationship.
So there's a little part of you that still wants your sister around, still wants to know why she left and wants to still be a family?
Yeah, definitely.
That's very understandable. Family is it seems to me like family is a very big part of your life.
It is.
So how has it been with your friends?
Friends are okay. I have been really busy with like work and stuff like that and just kind of trying to find a job. Not really working, but just trying to find a job. And so I'm home a lot. But when we do hang out, it's good. And it's usually at school. And so that's like whatever. Yeah.
In our intake session, one of the goals that we set up was for you to manage your time better with your friends and your sisters. And I know I mentioned this, I think, in our last session, but how do you think you've progressed with that goal?
I think when it like comes to not replacing my friends with like calling my sisters, I think I've done a really good job because I don't like ditch my friends anymore to go like sit on the phone for a half hour. So I think I've done pretty well with that. As of like finding time to spend with them, I think it's kind of dissipated a little bit just because I am busy with other stuff. But it's not like busy with the stuff that I was in our first session, you know, like ignoring my friends so I could talk to my sisters. Like I think that's improved a lot.
That sounds nice to me. How do you feel now that you like have this balance between friends and family?
Pretty good. Life seems like it's just going back to normal, which is nice. When I don't think about Ryan. Sometimes I can get like swept back into the problem, but then I just try and like put it out of my mind.
Like when you say comes up in your mind, you're talking about your sister, correct? How often do you think about your sister?
I mean, every day, kind of just naturally comes up. Like, I'm not thinking about it, so then I think about normal things about her, and I'm like, oh yeah. So, it's like every day. I'm not sure how often.
And when you do get these like thoughts about her, some good, some bad, are there any ways you try and like push them out of your mind, kind of cope with like the thoughts and of what she's done, and just, or do you just kind of like let them be and just think about them?
I think my anger towards her has a lot to do with that still. Like, that's kind of the way that I put her out of my mind is I say, well, I'm angry at you. I don't need to think about you. And it works. And I don't think about her because I'm angry. I don't know if I want to be angry at her.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think I mentioned this in our last session, that it's very hard to like not ever know what a person's thinking or why they chose to do things that they did, and it's good that you are trying to like find the silver lining in all this and like try to make yourself feel better, even though your sister has made you feel so poorly. And how have you been with Sarah and your mom and dad?
They're good. My mom's still really upset. I think that she's going to be upset for a long time. But my dad doesn't really talk about it at all. But when we hang out, it's, I don't know, somehow the topic always comes up. You know, like something reminds us or like something happens or something like that. And so then my mom gets talking about it, which I think is good for her to talk about it because she doesn't have like this. She doesn't go to therapy to talk about it. But since I talk about it here and I like think about it all the time, then when I go and see her and she's talking about it, I just feel so bad and like kind of like she has no one else to turn to.
Is there any way that you think you like need to help her?
Well, I want to be there for her. Like she's my mom and I want her to like feel better. But the situation itself doesn't really involve me anyway. Like Nan was mad at my parents, not me, but then she roped me in, and so I feel like if I were to try and fix the problem, that it wouldn't be much help.
And why don't you feel like it would be much help?
I guess it's because of that like control factor. Like I don't have any control over what happened, and I wasn't in the situation, and so even though I want to help, there's nothing really like I can make better.
And that kind of goes back to what I was saying just a few seconds ago, that it is very unfortunate that we don't have a say in how people treat us. But to me, it sounds like you and your mom have been very affected by Ryan leaving, but you're kind of handling it in different ways.
Yeah.
And then Sarah and your mom or your dad are like kind of they've kind of accepted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that Sarah's not upset with her at all because, like, she's had a few interactions with her that have been pleasant since she's left, and I haven't. And so I think that our experiences are very different.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's very understandable.
Mm-hmm. And then my dad, I don't know. He doesn't talk much about sensitive subjects.
I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you like to go from here?
Like goal-wise?
Yes, I mean we've kind of conquered the friendship versus family aspect. It seems to me like you really are coping with the idea of what your sister has done to you. Sorry. So like, what is most prominent to you that you would like to like be action oriented towards in therapy?
I don't think I want to be angry at her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really natural reaction for me to like be having, and it kind of upsets me that I have to be angry at her in order to go on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I would like to be able to like stop the anger and try and push forward with a more like, you know, optimistic or realistic or something like that type of mindset.
Mm-hmm. I heard you mention that you have to be angry at your sister. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I feel like if I'm not angry at her, then I just like dwell on it and sit there and mope and think about how she's gone. And so if I'm angry at her, it's so much easier for me to like move on with my day.
Mm-hmm.
And I am angry with her. Like she did something really upsetting, and I get that, but I don't want to be like upset about it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you want to be more optimistic and positive about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds to me like your coping mechanisms are pretty not fine-tuned, but they're getting there, like distracting yourself from the thought of your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Can you like explain to me what exactly your coping mechanisms are?
I think hanging out with my friends is one thing, and like I read a lot, and I can escape in a good book and not even think about like my own life. I just think about this story, which is really nice. And then definitely talking on the phone with Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah and I don't really talk about Rihanna a lot, which is nice.
So it kind of gets your mind off of it.
Mm-hmm.
From what you just described, the activities you take part in sound very relaxing and calming.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
So maybe you could try more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you've wanted to try but never really thought about doing?
For a coping strategy?
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I don't really know. Like obviously there's like the meditating and the yoga and stuff like that, but I'm not really a yoga type of person. But I don't know, I could be.
What about gymnastics and choir? I know we talked about those in our first session.
Yeah, I could do those for sure. And those are definitely things that help me escape. And I do those during the school day at school, so that's nice. It's hard to just kind of do that when I'm at home, though.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Those are kind of like group activities, or you need like equipment to go along with it.
Yeah.
But the reading, the relaxing, like that all sounds like a very healthy way of coping with the situation. Can you tell me a little bit more about your just ways of relaxing and getting her off your mind?
Yeah. My parents and I, we watch a lot of TV shows together, which is a cute and little family thing, which is nice. We mainly just watch like trailers to everything.
Really?
Yeah, which is funny. But I think that's pretty good because then we can like focus on something else rather than talking about it. Like mom talks about it a lot, and so if we can like sit her down, that helps me too.
That sounds like a pretty good idea of like how to continue your coping strategies. And there is the idea of coping, and there is the idea of taking a more optimistic and positive stance on the situation. Can you tell me about what you think about when you hear the word optimism?
Optimism, I would say, like, yes, there's a bad situation, but trying to think of, like, what good is coming out of it, and, like, what can become good out of the bad, even if it's not anything good right now.
So in this situation, what are the good sides? What are the optimistic sides?
I get to talk to my mom a lot more. I don't know. I think maybe, like understanding Rihanna as a person more is good, even if the stuff is bad. Other than that, it's kind of hard to find good stuff coming out of it.
Well, I guess one good thing could be like you're focusing on things that you really like again. The reading, gymnastics, choir, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And would you say that you're hanging out with your family a lot more?
I think so.
So there always are good things that do come out of bad things, even if they are like very small. You know.
Right.
Yeah. And do you think that more positive things have come out of this situation than negative? Or no?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm sure that in the future, if like this situation stays where it is, maybe like I'll have a more like optimistic approach to it as the days go on. But I don't know, right now it's just kind of
And that's definitely something that comes with time and just healing and acceptance, even if it is very hard to think about in the beginning. When you think about when that day comes when you finally accept what your sister has done, or just like accept the fact that you can't control it, what do you think about?
I think about like being able to let her just make her choices and trying to like, I don't know, take me out of the situation and like think about what she might have been doing it for, like if she was not enjoying like spending time with our parents. So I guess like not thinking about it from my point of view anymore.
Just kind of letting the thought be a thing and not really having any emotional reaction to it. That's how can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I think that if I like accept what she's done, then I can let go of like my current feelings about it. Not that I like deny them, but I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, that happened, and try and think about it from like her perspective rather than mine. Because right now I'm angry that she left me too, and like I don't even know why she left, but it might be something that like benefited her to leave.
That's
so,
true. Yeah, it's a different perspective to take, thinking about why she might have left instead of her leaving you. When you think about that possible perspective, like how do you feel?
I feel kind of sad because like if she left for her own reason, like there must have been something wrong, and that's upsetting to me because I don't want her to feel like sad or anything like that, or like she didn't have a good childhood or something like that. Like she said that my parents took her childhood away from her, but so it makes me feel sad.
even with the idea of her benefiting herself, it still makes you feel sad. If that is a potential possibility.
Yeah. I guess it's like more the bad reason why she left is what I'm thinking about rather than like how she is now, because I don't know how she is now. So like she could be suffering still,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't know, or she could be benefiting, which is nice. But yeah, I don't really feel like happy for her right now, just because I don't know what's going on in her life.
That is a good point. Because like you're not entirely sure of what's happening in her life, and all you can really think about is like these negative feelings. And, so with your goal in mind of turning those negative thoughts, negative feelings into positive and optimistic ones, what are some like ideas of how you can help yourself?
I think just trying to come up with some scenarios that like might be the reason why she left, or like might be what she's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might ease my mind a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and like thinking about her perspective rather than mine, and like trying to think about the good things that came out of it, not only for me but for her.
Mm-hmm.
So
Even though you might not know what those good things for her are,
mm-hmm.
still makes you feel good thinking that they could be there. There's potential that she is happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I want her to be happy, and I think that right now I'm just kind of still thinking about my own feelings and how she affected me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to think about that because I'm like very valid, and I want to, deal with my feelings. But lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
I think thinking about like how it might have benefited her would really like help me cope with my feelings.
Mm-hmm. Like it might just take a spin on the situation, and where you make yourself feel better because you think that she's much better off. Mm-hmm. What are some other ways that you think you might be able to make yourself feel better about the situation?
I would honestly love to see her,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know like when that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she's kind of gone.
Yeah,
She's just not here.
and judging by the past interactions might be a little iffy.
Yeah.
If you were to see her, what would you say to her?
I honestly think I would yell at her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because right now when I think about it, that's like my initial reaction. And when I like settle down and start talking about it, I get more like to the deeper emotions. But I think if I were to see her, I'd be like, "What the f, man?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know? So.
Why did this whole thing happen?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about talking to her, does it make you feel good, bad, angry, sad?
I think it would make me feel better. Like, when I think about talking to her, like, I get angry because I think I'm going to yell at her. And then I, like, feel relieved because she might tell me what her thoughts are on it and, like, why she left and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Is there anything positive that you would say to her?
I guess it depends on, like, her reasoning for why she left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's a really valid reason, I'm like, well, hopefully I would think that any reason I said should be valid, but maybe, like, comforting her and, like, telling her, like, if you feel better, and if she does, then, like, I'm glad you feel better, I'm glad you feel happy, like, just kind of being there for her emotions.
Mm-hmm. So, even though you are angry at her, you still want to comfort her in a way. You want to make her feel valid and better about her situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While still telling her how upset she made me.
Mm-hmm. And I think you have a right to do that. Nice.
Yeah.
Forgot to tell you that we were terminating, but
You're good.
sorry, Alora, it's gotta happen.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. Okay.
So you just want to keep that going?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Termination now.
Cool.
How do you want to start?
Do you want to start a new session?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right?
Is that weird?
Yeah, we'll just start from the beginning again.
Okay.
Hi, Alora. How are you? Or how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How do you feel about today being our last session?
I feel pretty good. I think I've kind of got all my strategies together, and like I know that I can come back to you. I feel okay going.
Mm-hmm. So the framework of today is gonna be us kind of going over how far we've come, what we've talked about in the past, and then furthering some ideas for future growth and future optimism, positivity, and then we're going to quickly figure out potential, not goals, but goals that you can take home with you. And
Okay.
yeah, how does that sound?
Good.
Okay, so can you tell me how you were feeling when you first came in?
I think it was a really fresh topic, and so I was really upset, really sad that my sister left, and kind of lonely that I wasn't hanging out with my friends, and every conversation kind of revolved around Rian and what was happening.
I remember when you came in for the first time, you had a lot of immediate problems to take care of. There was you were lonely because both of your sisters were gone and you didn't know how to handle that. And at the same time, you didn't know how to handle your time with your friends and your family. So can you tell me what your most prominent emotions were at that time?
I think definitely sadness. I also think frustration of my friends not understanding my situation and not wanting to talk with me about it, and then probably anger at Rian, at my sister.
And now when you think about those situations, after long months of trying to fix them, how do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I feel like I am not lonely anymore, or at least not all the time. There's those moments where you're I'm really bored sitting there doing nothing, but I'm not lonely anymore. I hang out with my friends and my family, and I think that I don't know, can deal with the sadness when it gets there, or when it comes.
You're much better at coping. And it sounds like you also have a very strong support system again.
Yeah, I think so too.
And what emotions come up for you when you think about this new situation that you're in?
Happiness and relief. A lot of relief that I can be myself again and not have to constantly worry about something or not worry about something, and just kind of move along with it rather than, I guess, using my emotions against myself, like anger.
Can you tell me about what you just said, using your emotions against yourself?
I think that when I would think about Rian, I would think about anger just to help myself feel better. And I think that in the long run, that was bad for me, and made me not feel so good about Rian. But really, I just needed relief and acceptance, and needed to maybe feel what she was feeling, and so trying to think about those scenarios really helped the anger escape.
And that's how you're feeling now, correct? You are understanding potentially her point of view, and you're kind of better at accepting it now. And does that relate more to our goal on how to like cope with the stress of your sister, like the burden your sister has placed on you?
I think so, because now I don't feel like it's affecting me too much anymore. Like, her situation is her situation and it happened, but like I wasn't really directly involved. And so now thinking about it from her perspective, I can think about like all of her emotions and what might have happened, even though I still don't know. But I think that definitely takes some weight off my shoulders, and I'm not a burden to her anymore because I don't really speak to her.
How do you feel knowing that you don't really speak to her that often and your feelings of anger have kind of subsided?
I think when I think of like the overall situation of like I haven't talked to my sister in a really long time, I feel like that's really upsetting. But like when I think about it, it makes me think that I should be upset, but I'm not upset and I'm okay with that. Like I'd rather not be upset about it and just like acknowledge it and move on, you know? But I think the concept alone of like not talking to your family is upsetting.
I'm really happy that you say that you can acknowledge it and move on. I feel like that's been something difficult for you to process and like handle because you had so much anger inside of you. So now that we've reached that, like that's really good.
Thanks.
Now we've definitely made a lot of progress.
Cool. I think so too.
And your situation with your friends, how do you feel? How do you feel like we've accomplished that goal?
That one's pretty good. I hang out with them on my own terms, and I can like not talk about my sister all the time like I was at the beginning, and I think that makes them feel better, and I think gives them more room to like be my friend in a not so like therapist-y way, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So
So you're still bringing up the topic here and there, but it's not like constant.
yeah, like if something happens, I'll probably say something, but
And I feel like you're allowed to do that. You have friends for a reason. Like they're your support system when you need them, as you are their support system, right?
yeah, I think so. And there's definitely times where like my friends and I'll just sit down and like vent and like not feel like we have to do something about everything that you just said. Like that feels really good.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like you have to fix their problems. It's just nice to be heard, and it's nice for them to be heard too. Yeah. So there's definitely a balance now, what you would say?
Yeah. And it's not just me talking at them anymore. So
can you tell me more about that?
yeah, I think before I was kind of like expecting them to want to fix my problems and like give me solutions, and coming to therapy has been like a really good way for me to get a second opinion without harming my friends and like expecting so much out of them. Because I don't think like putting high expectations on them makes our friendship any better. Because I just want them to be themselves.
Yeah, that's good that you think like that. And having me as kind of like an outside perspective to the situation, it's probably been a better way to vent. Yeah, instead of like in the beginning you telling your friends all this stuff and them just kind of brushing you off.
Yeah, for sure. I think coming here and like you definitely enlightening me on stuff that I wasn't able to see helped a lot.
Yeah, for sure. So there's your goal with your friends and family. There was a goal to find more positivity in your life, would you say you've accomplished that goal as well? The second one I mentioned.
The positivity. I think so. Because now I can like put away my anger and just kind of think about like how it's benefiting her, and I'm sure like, or I hope it's benefiting her now, which I think is really positive. And I don't think I have too much anger anymore.
Can you tell me more about that?
I think that when I start to think about my feelings when I was angry, the anger comes up out of just, recognition of that anger. But then I can like come back to myself right now and realize that my emotions have changed and understand why they've changed, and that feels really good.
How do you now understand that they have changed?
I don't think I'm too angry anymore, and I think that I've just kind of, like I said earlier, accept it and move on, which allows me to not think about my anger anymore that I have.
This anger, how prominent is it in your life now compared to like back then?
It's like not at all there anymore. When I was thinking about her a lot and like trying to contact her and stuff, I was really angry. And I don't think that it like generalized in my life, but it could have. But now it's definitely not there. So.
And it's been replaced? The anger?
I don't think it's been replaced. I just don't think it's like coming up as much anymore.
I mean, like by positive emotions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I guess that was kind of a confusing question.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, those positive emotions. How do they come up? Where do they stem from?
My positive emotions. I think they come from me wanting to like have a lot of people around me, and I feel like the best way to like gain people and gain friends and just kind of want to like have people enjoy your presence is to be positive and to be optimistic and just kind and stuff like that. So I think that me striving to have a lot of people around me kind of stems from that.
That's good. That's good. You're trying to surround yourself by people that you really care about, that you really love. They probably bring out some really good like feelings in you, like probably like a better side of you. Would you say?
Yeah, not that angry side.
Yeah. And these people are your friends, your parents, right?
All of the above.
Yeah, all of the above. Anybody else I'm forgetting?
No boyfriend. Although he still is my friend. Yeah, just friends and family.
And what about your hobbies?
Reading is definitely still prominent. I have read a lot of books, and they're very, I don't know, they connect to me a lot, even though the stories might not, because I feel like when you're reading, you can just kind of engulf yourself and not think about anything except the book, and that feels really good.
Yeah, I completely understand that feeling. It's one that really like clears your mind. Makes you just like very neutral to the world and just calm, at peace.
I think so too.
And are those feelings like, are you welcoming them? Are you doing like better with them in your mind instead of the anger?
Yeah, I definitely think that I welcome the positive stuff more often now, which is good. I think it makes me feel so much better.
And then I think a third goal of yours was just having someone to talk to about the situation, being able to express your feelings. Do you think that we've accomplished that goal as well?
I definitely think that I have you to talk to. I haven't really found a different outlet to kind of like let my emotions go and like have that second view. My friends and I do vent though, which is nice. But I don't think I get the same like second perspective thing that I do here.
Especially with the problem that we had in the beginning. You're like, I'm sure with what you've experienced back then, you're kind of afraid to like bring it up more than you really have to. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I still talk to my friends about stuff, but just not expecting them to fix all my problems.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
Mhm.
Like we said earlier, it's nice to be heard. It's nice to listen to others, but you can't really expect them to fix all your problems.
Yeah.
But are there any other like ways that you can talk to someone about this issue once our sessions are like complete and over?
I think that talking to my friends might be like good enough. Like I think kind of hearing it out loud helps me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Helps me realize like what I'm feeling because I am saying it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's still pretty good, even though I might not have like this back and forth.
Yeah. And what about your parents or your sister?
Sister's good. We still don't really talk about Brianne a lot, which is fine because I don't need to. But her and I definitely exchange a lot of venting moments, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. And your parents?
Parents, not really. Only I feel like I do come to my mom to vent a lot, and she comes to me, and then it's like relief, and then we can move on and talk about something else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is she like doing better with the situation, or is she still kind of struggling?
She talks about it less for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when it does come up, she still gets sad, but that she's been able to like kind of move on and put it in the back of her mind for the day.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes up, it comes up, and she's okay with that.
Mm-hmm. And having another mindset in the house, kind of similar to yours. Does that make you feel better about the situation?
I think so. I think it makes my feelings more valid and her feelings more valid. That, oh, I'm not just feeling this way because I had this one experience. Like, it's kind of been happening overall.
Yeah. You kind of have like someone who knows what you've been going through.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So your sister and sometimes your mom, they're also good people to talk to vent to about like your feelings when they come up.
I think so. I think they're very understanding people, willing to hear me out.
Can you tell me more about that?
I think that growing up, we've been a very like honest family. I think I mentioned that to you. And so being able to talk to them, they've been very open and just kind of here to listen to me. And if they don't agree, that's fine. And they can tell me if they want, but they usually just kind of validate me and understand my feelings, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm sure that's very nice. It sounds to me like you're very happy to have this like support system in your life. Like it helps you with Brianne, but also with like other things that may come up. And they're always like they always have an open ear. Yeah.
I think so.
Is there anything I didn't touch on in terms of our goals throughout our time together?
I don't think so.
I think we covered them all. So, what are you looking for after our time together ends?
Kind of looking forward to maybe in the future getting to talk to Rian. I'm also looking forward to like practicing my coping skills more, which is nice.
Those sound good? Alright, so the first one, if the time ever does come to where you meet up with Rianne and get to talk, do you think that you would have a clear mindset and like kind of understand where her perspective lies?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd be able to just kind of sit down and have a conversation with her about what happened rather than, like I said last session, yell at her as an instinct. So.
Can you tell me more about that? Like, what would you talk about in the moment?
I'd probably ask her just like what happened and like why she left, but try and stay more calm and like listen to her feelings and try and understand them rather than to compare them to mine.
Mhm. So you would take a very relaxed approach
Mm-hmm.
while still trying to get the answers that you've wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
Definitely a different mindset than what we talked about last session.
I think so too.
That's a good one to keep like a relaxed point of view. If the time ever did come up, how do you think you would feel seeing her face to face?
That's hard to tell just because like I haven't seen her in so long, and so I feel like my default might be anger, but then I'd have to like control myself back in and like try and think of all my coping mechanisms and like think of her perspective and stuff like that, and so it might be anger,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
At least it's not like you'll go directly to anger. You're like, for right now, you feel like you're on the fence about anger. You're trying to like calm yourself down more. If you ever saw her in like any situation, is that right?
Yeah, I definitely think I'm more like aware of my anger, and that I don't want it really there. And so since I'm aware of it, I can control it a little more and try and think of my coping strategies.
And your coping strategies, that's another one of your goals to take home with you, correct? So by coping strategies, what do you think you're going to do?
I think mainly the different perspective is big, and like trying not to think about my own feelings and, well, not think about them, but try and like compare them to what someone else might be feeling and like what their perspective might be. I think helps a lot because then I calm down and like, oh yeah, they probably feel like this. Oops. So oops, yeah.
Can you go into that a little bit more?
Yeah. I think that thinking of someone else's perspective really helps you think about your own, and when you might be angry, but someone else might be really happy that the situation happened, and so thinking of like that and just like me realizing that I just want her to be happy, like in the long run, I think would really help.
Yeah, that sounds like a really nice point of view. It sounds to me that instead of thinking that she kind of just abandoned the family, you have this new point of view as to where like you are trying to understand where she might be coming from that wasn't in like some sort of like maniacal kind of mindset, right?
Yeah.
When you're thinking about your sister and your coping mechanisms, besides like thinking about her point of view, is there anything else that comes to mind?
I'm just wondering what she's up to. I don't really know where she lives. I don't know what she's doing, and so it'd be cool to like figure out what she's up to, maybe where she works, or if she's seeing anyone. That sounds really fun to think about.
I think we might have gotten a little like. Sorry. I'm trying to like go back to the question that I had formulating. Your other coping mechanisms. Like, do you still like reading, gymnastics, choir?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Anything else?
Hanging out with friends a lot, watching movies. Other than that, not really.
And if the situation came up to where you started getting angry at Rhiannon again, like just thinking about it, or if there was a situation where she saw you and you saw her and you like just got very angry at her in that moment, would you be able to use these coping mechanisms to calm yourself down and try and get the topic off your mind?
I think if in the situation where I'm just like thinking about her, I think definitely. I could pick up a book, or I could think of what she's doing, or like whatever. Going out with my friends. I think if I saw her, it'd be a lot harder to calm myself down in the moment because she's right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think hopefully I could do it.
I feel like from where we were in the beginning to where we are now, I feel like you could really handle yourself in the situation.
Thanks.
Yeah. Especially with you understanding your coping mechanisms, you understanding her point of view, and taking a much calmer mindset. Like, I feel like you could definitely handle the situation well.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm. So, Laura,
Nice.
get out.
Get out. Leave.
Just
Deal with
kidding.
your own problems.